A very good day to you, Doctor. My name is Lauren Kai. Mission number is 28968. And now I have to present about the study of Top Glove Corporation Berhad, and we're going to examine its performance and its determinants. So, for the problem statement, as we all know, Top Glove is the largest glove maker in the world before and during COVID pandemic by supplying essential healthcare requirements. However, the post-peak phase of the COVID-19 pandemic brought about a huge shift in the dynamics, which has resulted in the decline in the need for rubber gloves that leads to a negative impact on their profits. Additionally, the United States Customs and Border Protection (CBP) decided to implement a ban on top glove in July 2020 due to the forced labor issues. And the United States is the significant export market for top glove, which accounts for around 25% of the company's total sales volume. Even worse, the UOB Kahian research stated that a hike in the natural gas price on the quarter will have a significant impact on the glove maker because the natural gas accounts for about 10 to 15% of the cost of goods sold for the glove producer. So in this research, there are a total of three research objectives. First is to ascertain the internal factors that could have affect the company's performance. Second is to identify the external factors that could have influenced the company performance. And third is to investigate the internal and external factors that could have influenced the company's performance. And moving on to the research questions, the first one is there any relationship between the internet factor and the company's performance? The second question is there any relationship between the external factors and the company's performance? And the third question is there any relationship between the internal and external factors with the company's performance? So moving on to literature review. First of all, the profitability is commonly described as the net earnings of a corporation, and it is calculated by subtracting all expenses from the revenue generated over a specific period, according to Mustafa. Next, inside the Basel Committee report, the operational risk also defined as the risk of loss that is a consequence of adequate or failing internal process, people, and system. And the last one is market risk, which defined as a potential that the trading book of the bank would incur losses of the consequence of variation, for example, like price of share, interest rates, credit spreads, foreign exchange rate, or commodity price, whose values are established by a public market according to Meta. So in this study, our focus is on the Malaysian rubber glove manufacturing sector, and the company selected is Top Glove Corporation Berhad. The data sources is from annual reports, 5 years of observation from 2018 to 2022. So the primary approach utilized in this research involved the OLS through the multiple linear regression analysis, where the researcher employed IBM SPSS version 26 to examine the relationship between the dependent and independent variables. So as we can see from the data analysis, there are only one dependent variable, which is the profitability ROE, and there are three groups of independent variables, which is the internal factors, external factors, and internal factors. And according to our model one is internal factors, model two is external factors, and model three is examine the internal and external factors with the profitability, which is our dependent variable. So now moving on to the descriptive statistic. So the descriptive statistic provide us an overview of the key characters of the data. And as we can see from the data, the mean ROE of the Top Glove Corporation Berhad is calculated at 0.6369. This represents the central value of the ROE dataset derived by summing the ROE value for each of the 5 years and dividing by the total number of the observation. The mean of 0.6369 indicates that, on average, Top Glove is generating a return on equity of approximately 63.69%. So for this correlation table, we can see that the ROA is the most significant one because the p-value is less than 0.001. All right, and moving on to the significant one, it included operational margin, interest rate, and GDP growth. However, most of them are not significant because of the p-value is greater than 0.2, which is current ratio, return of asset, average collection period, debt to income, operational ratio, inflation, exchange rate, unemployment, industrial production rate. Uh, all of these independent variables are not significant to ROE. Now, talking about the model summary, first we look at the internal. So the internal factors of the model summary shows us that out of 7 variables, only 3 contributed to top Gulf Corporation Berhad's financial performance or ROE with an adjusted R square of 1.000 or 100%. In contrast, the remaining variables are not relevant to the study. So moving on to the external model summary, the external factors of the model summary shows us that out of 6 variables, only 3 contributed to the top Gulf Corporation Berhad financial performance or ROE with the adjusted R square of 0.99 or 99%. And in contrast, the remaining variables are not relevant to the study. And the last one is the internal and external factors of the model summary shows us that out of 13 variables, only 3 contributed to Top Glove Corporation Berhad's financial performance or ROE with an adjusted R square of 0.995 or 99%. In contrast, the remaining variables are not relevant to the studies. So for the coefficient, first we look at the internal. So the finding of this study highlight that the crucial role of the ROA are the most significant factor impacting the ROE, and supported by its remarkable small p-value of less than 0.001, and these low p-values indicates a highly significant statistical relationship between the ROA and ROE. The study aligned with the existing research, as we can see the study done by Kabaje and Damash, which emphasizes the interconnections of the financial ratios like ROA and ROE with the company's market share price. And moving on to the external coefficient, on the other hand, the study also reviews that the GDP and the industrial production rate are deemed to be significant predictor for the ROE, given their p-values of 0.025 and 0.031 respectively. And this suggested that the variation in GDP growth and the industrial production rate are associated with the changes in ROE. This also aligns with the findings of uh, Adayasha and also Balskova. And lastly, moving on to the internal and external factors, GDP is negative coefficient suggested that it is an inverse relationship with the ROE. As GDP decreases, there's a tendency for the ROE to increase. The p-value of 0.027 is below the conventional significant level of 0.05. And this suggested that the relationship between GDP and ROE is statistically significant. Therefore, we can reasonably infer that the changes in GDP are associated with the changes in ROE for the top Gulf Corporation Berhad. And the importance of GDP in influencing financial metrics is further supported by the research indicating its positive effect on both ROA and ROE, emphasizing the multi-factored impact of the economic growth on the profitability by the BELA research. So in conclusion, there are a total of 7 independent variables positively affecting the top Gulf Corporation Berhad's performance, including ROA, average collection period, operating margin, inflation rate, unemployment, industrial rate, and the CG index based on the correlation table. And this indicates that when the 7 independent variables mentioned just now increases, so does the top Gulf ROE performance. However, the correlation table only shows us that the ROA is the most and the only factor significant to the ROE of the top Gulf Corporation Berhad. So the statistical examination reveals that the ROA stand out as the most significant factor influencing the ROE, with the lowest p-value in the correlation analysis, where the p-value is lower than 0.001. emphasizing the crucial role of efficient asset utilization in shaping the company's overall financial health. For recommendations, this finding implies strategic implications for decision maker, suggesting that efforts to optimize ROA can substantially enhance ROE, offering valuable insight for the stakeholders concerned with financial performance. And moreover, considering the multifaceted impact of the key financial ratios, the focus on ROA becomes instrumental in aligning financial management strategies with the broader organizational goal. And the study also advised considering management proficiency in capital structure management, fund allocations, and loan management. And so that's all for me. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.